areas, that whole concept, we don't feel that because we're living in it. Violence, most of the time, violence is not so calculated. All of a sudden, just things happen. And of course, the mixture, the poverty and everything, all the ingredients to form that is there. But you'll find from the people that you would go, I don't want to be within 10 miles of that person. They're bad. That person has hopes and dreams. They're worried about their family. They're worried about their mom. And they're murderers. You know, I mean, they're bad guys, but they don't see themselves that way. They just see it as, I'm living the cards I was dealt.
Gracias, amigo. Hola.
Yeah, this is one of those places that the view's really great if you live to enjoy it. We walk and live and operate in dangerous areas, but we're loved because they're living their lives. They don't say, I created this dangerous area, stay out. When you're walking with children and you're walking with their families, they want life. I had one of the top guys at MS-13 in prison one time come up to me and say, we know that the spirit in you is greater than the spirit in us. It's abhorrent, it's aberrant, it's distorted, it's perverted, it's chaotic, it's corrupt on every level, and they don't see any of it. And you know what I say? I get it. I get it. And so you have to walk with them for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And then that's how you transform a community.
Honduras, in a lot of ways, is much like other Latin American countries. Of course, you have the main themes you may hear in the news: drug trafficking, gang activity, little access to healthcare. But what you probably haven't heard too much about is the delicious food, beautiful tropical landscapes, and welcoming hospitality. There's something special happening in Honduras that we knew we wanted to explore. So Children's Cup sent me and JD to meet and talk to a few people that are committed to seeing Honduras thrive. All right, so we got our first full day in Honduras here. We're gonna get picked up by Josue, and he's gonna drive us deep into coffee territory. Going to Tio Pacente. We're gonna kind of see what Josue and his father Pablo are doing in that area, how they are helping to break the poverty cycle in the country of Honduras. So it's gonna be very exciting. Gosh, it's so hard to film myself in the morning.
Pablo is apparently wild.
Pablo is in fact a crazy person. Last time we were here, we got stuck in the mud. It was rainy season then, so hopefully it's not as bad this time. Ready?
Let's go.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. No, I live here in Tegucigalpa, so I travel at least once in a week. I do this travel.
So you do this drive once a week?
At least. Today I was thinking about taking the long way, but the GPS was saying that it would be another 45 minutes, but at the end it's gonna be basically the same.
Is it like a chess game trying to figure out, like, do you have to take different roads different days? And so it's like...
Yeah, there are some days that we just come and everything is empty, so it's clear.
Yeah.
And some days we just waste, 45 minutes or an hour just in this spot.
Yeah.
The new government, they're very slow. Now they're trying to do many things all around the whole city. So basically they're working, fixing different roads.
Working?
In here they have been working for 18 months.
Yeah.
And they have just done less than 2 miles. You go to the other way through Valle de Ángeles, so sometimes they will just fix something, make a really bad traffic, and they're only fixing like 200 or 300 meters of the road.
Okay, yeah.
Then they will stop there and they will jump back to the south. So they're doing this kind of things.
Oh.
Yep.
Something. I was falling asleep in the car, so we got this 2-hour drive, and we stopped to get some coffee, get some energy drinks. We still haven't eaten yet, but that's all right. We're gonna eat at their place. I'm really excited because they definitely, they're hosts. Like, they give you such delicious food and stuff. So I was gonna get something to eat here at this gas station, but decided against it because I wanted to get the authentic experience. Doesn't that look good? Wow. I love this place. It's definitely like what you think of when you think of like staying at a place in Honduras. This is Pablo's hotel. So he had the radio station and then he built this place as well. He doesn't really speak English, but he's like, you can tell, like he has such an interesting character about him. He's so funny. You just take one look at him. I like his face. Looks like he has a gun, like a holster. Oh, he's missing like a cowboy hat, like a traditional cowboy hat. It's time to ride with Pablo.
Sometimes he thinks that he's younger than what he is.
How old does he think he is?
He thinks like he's like 30, 35. Once he called me and he was really excited and he's like, hey, I came in the motorcycles to Plancito. And I'm like, okay, are you crazy? And he's like,
This
no.
is the road you would be driving on a motorcycle.
Yeah, that's
to
it.
Plancito.
That's not okay for you. He's like, yeah, it was really fun. Like, I think I'm gonna do it more often. And I'm like, no, you cannot do it. 3 months later, it was a summer. It was in 2021. He was using long sleeves the whole week, and I'm like, what's going on with this guy? So I went and I looked at the motorcycle, and I see a couple of scratches in the motorcycle. I asked him, like, hey, how's your arm doing? And he's like, no, fine. I don't want to get sunburned, so that's why I'm using it. Like I tell him now, sometimes I'm like the father,
Yeah.
telling him not to do things. He showed it to me. I was a little bit upset with him, and I give him a jacket, some gear for protection. So he gave it away because he said it is too hot, and sometimes he will be using flip-flops driving the motorcycle. And I'm like, you cannot do that kind of thing. Like all the time I'm telling him, hey, at least use the helmet. It doesn't like when I drive motorcycles, I always use boots and my gear, like, and it's like, and most of all the helmet. It's like, this thing is expensive. You only have one.
You worked for 8 years to become a doctor. Once you became a doctor, then what happened after that?
So the thing is, it was a hard process. Like everything that is good, it will cost you a lot. So sometimes you get to this point of where you start looking, you start thinking that you're a little bit better than everybody else. And one of the things that I learned from this guy that was the president of Honduras, Carlos Roberto Reina, from 1994 to 1998. This guy with many masters, many doctors, he told me, you need to learn how to speak with respect to somebody that is in the street, to somebody that is driving a bus, and to the doctors that are gonna be with you. So you need to know how to speak to everybody. I was struggling a lot with all of this. So in between I was finishing my degree and everything, I have all of these teams that are coming down from Children's Cup and also teams that are coming from different churches. In my first clinic that I did with a medical team, that they were Christian, they put one station that was different. They put a station that it was prayers.
Hola!
One of the men that changed the way that I was thinking is Dr. Mike Sabat from the US. And he told me, we are not the most important people in here. The most important people in here is the ones that are praying for all of these patients. I started like making this transition from 2018 to 2019, where I was more time doing teams than doing medicine. I couldn't be a doctor here in Teopasente because this guy was telling everybody, my son is a doctor, he's not gonna charge you, just go and he's gonna tell you what to do. So I started looking and it's like, okay, that's a market that I can never. Remember, he's a politician, so he was offering all the time. In Honduras, you have the public and you have the private. The private is basically the same in the US. In the public, you are seeing people dying, basically, because you go to the ER in Tegucigalpa. Sometimes they don't have you in Tylenol, so you're gonna get there, and basically you have somebody dying, and you need to tell somebody, it's like, we don't have nothing, you need to buy all of these medicines.
The Honduran government has accepted that the lack of medicine currently affecting the country is part of a profound crisis in the country's public health system.
I basically was losing faith in humanity because you have the public system where people is dying.
Hola.
And you have the private system where people is getting rich. Whew.
Like a ride.
I started looking at these people coming from the US trying to help people in my country. And I was just being a regular translator, somebody that was just there to help a little bit his father. And every time I was getting more and more involved. And I see the joy of these people building a playground for a kid, building some walls or a roof for these kids. And you can see the joy of these people working and the joy of these kids getting something. You don't need millions to change the life of somebody because you're changing the life of somebody in the US and you're changing the life of a kid in here. And you are in the middle of this joy.
You're about to get married. How important to have the influence of your father?
It's like the biggest example that I could ask. No pude porque se quedó con
Sí.
Because of him, I'm in the care points. And it's because of him that I'm going to these care points, and these kids, they are seeing a dad and a son trying to help many kids. They are seeing an ex-politician going to help kids instead of being in a big dining room, being in TV shows, doing different things like what politics normally do. And they are seeing an example that everybody can help. They are seeing in a doctor that is coming here just to play around with them. If they need some medicine, I will provide the medicines. Many of these kids wouldn't have the opportunity to somebody to tell them that they can do something else. The example of Nef in Plancitos, taking a camera and just going around here and speaking the way that kids speak today. So you can see like the fruits of that kind of things.
Hola, muy buenos días, ¿qué tal? Mi nombre es Nefia Binadit Avilés. Tengo la edad de 12 años y les voy a narrar una pequeña historia de mi vida. Bueno, a la edad de 3 años, mi mamá me preparó a mí. Estuvo con mi papá un tiempo, pero mi papá se fue y me dejó solo con mi mamá. Y bueno, mi mamá tuvo que trabajar para sacarme adelante. Yo viví un tiempo con mis abuelos, mis tíos y tías. Mi mamá se fue a una ciudad a trabajar para mandarme de comer y mandarme dinero para que comprara los útiles para estudiar en una escuela. Para entrar tuvimos que pasar por muchas dificultades porque mi papá no se hizo cargo. Le dice, mi mamá, ella ha trabajado muy duro para mí, pero mi papá, él no cuenta, no se ha hecho cargo de mí y nunca ha estado para mí. La única que ha estado para mí solo es mi mamá y le agradezco mucho con todo mi corazón que ha estado siempre para mí todo este tiempo. Y mi papá, por él, no contaba, yo no era nadie. Me gusta el fútbol, me gusta el básquetbol, me gusta pasar tiempo con mis amigos, amigas y familiares. Bueno, mi comida favorita es la pizza y la hamburguesa. Mi sueño cuando yo sea grande es ser piloto, policía o doctor. Y dime, ¿a ti qué te gustaría ser?
What is your goal for the children that you are helping?
Que todos se gradúen, que todos aprendan a jugar un deporte y verlos feliz. No solo darles alimento de comida, sino que la parte importante que es el alimento espiritual. Pero lo más bello es cuando llego a los comedores y empiezan los niños a abrazarme.
Mi amigo.
Sí,
¿Sí?
sí.
Bien.
My father was like the personal assistant of the president of Honduras. So I was Josué Gallo, the son of Pablo Gallo. So I was using the power of my father in a bad way.
Did you feel like you were doing something wrong at the time and you...
Oh, yeah. I lose like the notion of where was the floor. So I was basically in the sky. I will have like this big amount of attention, and I will go to some place and it's like, no, the son of Pablo Gallo, you don't need to pay anything. It's like, we're gonna invite you to have your dinner. And I'm like, okay. In my mind, I was like, I'm better than everybody else. I'm the athlete. I'm gonna be the future doctor. I'm the best. Some time passed, and I start praying, and I say, okay, God, I cannot do it anything else. So I need some help. And I start listening this voice inside of me that was telling me that you need to release. In a point, I just start crying, and I'm like, okay, what's going on with me? Like, something is different. So I'm crying and all of that, and I'm praying, and I tell to God, okay, I surrender. It's like I cannot do anything by myself. I basically felt like a big wave was taken from me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was feeling that something was like, something was breaking inside of me, like the weight of the old man. So I did the best that I could, and this voice telling me, you don't have to be the smart or the hardest guy in the room. Okay.
Can you tell me what it means to be Josué's father?
Me siento orgulloso. Siento el apoyo que él me da. Es mi amigo, después de ser mi hijo, y es con quien más platico, y esa parte. Tengo un hijo que me comprende y al mismo tiempo trabajamos en una misma causa, y eso me motiva.
There's a good way to do things, a bad way to do things, and Pablo Gallo ways to do things. And it's always with the blessing of the Lord that we can do many things. So he's somebody that inspired me a lot, and also is somebody that is trying me to make me better every single day.
Do you want to take a second to tell him what your answer was?
He already know what. Yeah. No. Tell you for sure, he doesn't realize what he's doing, or the big amount of life that he's changing, how his life and his presence. He's like a force, basically. Many people is moving around him. Just the word of saying, I'm the son of Pablo Gallo, it's something that is a little bit heavy. It's a legacy. It's a challenge in a good way. The Lord called us as a family to try to change generations. Sometimes we see teenagers coming and saying hi to my father and say, Pablo Gallo, we love you. And those are kids that right now they're finishing high school and they're pursuing going to the university. So it's not like we are here because we don't have anything else to do. We are changing lives. Not everybody will like the way that I am. I'm not the guy that is smiling all the time and making silly faces to make everybody smile. But with my words, and especially with the things that I do in every single day, I try to be an example for everybody else. So for my family, for the kids that are around me, and I hope for my future kids. It's because of him that I try to be an example for everybody else.
It quickly became clear to us that the thing that's driving Josué and Pablo to do this work is a deep love for their community. Josué's work alongside his father and what he has learned from the example Pablo gives him has changed his perspective of what it means to live with a purpose. Now, instead of using his father's influence in more selfish ways, like when he was young, he has grown to use that influence to help others and better the world for those around him. Not only that, but he's also developing his own influence in these communities. When it comes to poverty, Honduras has some of the most challenging living situations in the world, but Children's Cup aims to fix that. Josue is a vital part of making that happen. The work they do goes much further than feeding children in areas of extreme poverty. The Children's Cup team in Honduras is working to transform these areas entirely by empowering the next generation to dream of a better future. While we were in the mountains of Honduras, we saw some of the most remote areas of the country, where the ability to find work, education, healthcare, or even the essentials is nearly impossible. Children's Cup is working every day to change the lives of the people who live in these communities, one generation at a time. The example Pablo is for Josue will carry on for years to come, as Josue becomes the example for the next generation of Hondurans who strive to make their community better.
Day 3 in Honduras. Or do we count day 1 as a day 1? Or is that just travel? It's very exciting today. I feel more awake already. But today's going to be super fun. I mean, you got to see JR.
I want to know if you're married or if you're engaged.
I'm married.
Oh, congratulations.
I love JR because the first time I came, he didn't speak English really much at all. And then the second time I came, like he was the main person. He was doing translating. Like he's translating everything for us. So it's like really, really cool to see like he's stepping into his role. It's really cool to see, even just in these 3-4 years that I've been coming here, to see that transition from him and how that will kind of correlate to the children that he is overseeing. To see that like his confidence might, get passed on down to them. But it's a beautiful day today. It's 78 degrees. I'm sure it'll get up to 90 today, but time to get some coffee and then we'll go.
Once we grabbed some coffee and breakfast, we hopped in the back of Josue's truck and headed to an area on the south side of Tegucigalpa to meet up with JR, another Honduran who is helping to break the cycle of poverty in this beautiful country. Los Pinos is home to many families who are living in extreme poverty. These living conditions drive the kids looking for protection and community to join local gangs. That might seem crazy to some people, but that is the reality they live in.
I think it is funny, people watching us with the camera.
I'm just waiting for like a dude to just grab this camera.
Yeah, I think more people are going to be like waving at us. Welcome to the country of Honduras. People riding in the back of cars on highways.
Dilo, hola. ¿Andas paseando?
Oh, español.
Oh, ya, sí. Está bueno. Bienvenidos. Cheque.
Los Pinos, this is my favorite care point because you like look over the mountain. So it's literally like you're on a cliff face and you just see the whole city. Hola. ¿Cómo estás?
Yeah.
But yeah, this is like this care point itself. The cliff, like seeing the whole entire city, like from the cliff face, like it's incredible. I love it. And there's so many kids here too.
Buenas.
¿Cómo estás? Good to see you.
I know you missed me.
Yeah, I did. I missed you a lot.
One of the biggest issues that we have in the community is they don't have a place. They don't have any playgrounds in the community. They have only one core. And 1 year ago, the gangs take the core, the only core they have, the only open space they have. And so nobody is allowed to go and play over there anymore. And so
the gangs don't allow the kids there.
No, nobody can go over there. Oh, see, they have fun. Look at my mom.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Bien. Do you get a lot of kids coming to this care point who are coming out of gangs or have some
part of?
Yeah, or they're a part of gangs?
Yes.
Yes.
I would say the at least the 20% of our kids are part in some way. It's a survivor thing. It's not because I wanted to. It's the only reason that I can survive.
Hey, hola. Que me entienden, va.
Wrestling in the last 2 years, I would say that we lost around 60 kids about the games. The games show up to the door and they say, get out, this is gonna be my house, and we'll use this house because I wanted to, and you're out. Thank God, as a Children's Cup, we have a really good partner with Red Cross, International Red Cross. And so they have a program for exiled families. They leave in the middle of the night crying because they abandoned their friends. They abandoned my mom, Elizabeth, had died, and we know this is the last time we're going to say goodbye.
So this is kind of a right on top of a hill for this community.
Yeah.
Like these kids wouldn't have anywhere to play soccer in this community without this care point.
Exactly. To be honest, sometimes I believe the kids come just to have a place to be kid and rather to eat.
Yeah.
This is it's only 4 guys in the team. And the goalie can't touch it. Can't touch it, no hands.
I know how to play soccer. I was trying to get in, but it seemed like I wasn't invited. They're like, the gringo does not know how to play soccer.
Wait, you need the shot where they're filming it, and then all of a sudden it's like the moon getting bigger and bigger.
The craziest elementary school you've ever been to in your life. What's crazy is the amount of kids that feel like it's normal to just come hug you. If you notice, like other kids, you have to like say hi to them or something. Yeah, these kids are like totally welcome to just like talk to us and say hi to us and stuff. It has to be something that they're doing here that creates that encouragement that they get. Dylan? You remember me?
Irma, yo con una con usted. Quítate.
Well, I guess we're doing a photo shoot, so yeah. Why though? Well, because we took some photos of people for interviews, but then they all wanted photos now, so apparently they never get their photos printed. Now they're getting mad at me because I'm not taking photos of them.
You're my Tom and Jerry today.
Yeah, Tom and Jerry today.
That's the JR trademark.
¿Sí? Y que digas tu nombre, ¿verdad? Y qué es lo que te gusta de comer y que presentes a todos tus amigos diciendo aquí están todos mis amigos en comer.
¿Tu nombre? Melina Arriola. ¿Tu edad? 11. 16. 11. ¿Y tu favorito? ¿Ah? ¿Cuál es el favorito? Rosado. ¿Qué le gusta? ¿Ah? ¿Qué te gusta? De todo, de jugar fútbol, de todo. Ahora presente a todos sus amigos. Yo no tengo. Bueno, vamos a enseñar aquí a todos los amigos de May. Dásela, vos te la prestó. No, a mi hijo no me la dejó. A vos te la prestó.
You know the Elias sword with the prophets?
Yeah.
The altar and the fire?
Yeah.
We're going to learn about that.
We'll see it. Yep. We'll be filming, so we'll see how much faith you have.
Let's see how much faith you have.
What has Dwight meant to you?
He changed my mindset. He helped me to get mature action. The first 14 years of my life, I need to have a dad, a role model. And so he becomes the role model. I think that's the reason that I love the kids in age care point. Even now that Dwight never had kids with my mom, he received me as his kid. And he gave me love as a father. So why I can't do the same for these kids? They don't have any fathers.
You did it. You did it.
I did it. Apparently I got faith. Apparently you got faith too.
It was great.
Last time I did, I almost burned myself. Yeah, I don't think I have any table. Okay. So I did it on my knee. And the gas that I used is pouring in shirt. I almost burned myself.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So you did it.
I did it. And then my kid was there, and then he was laughing.
You learned from your mistakes.
Yeah, he was laughing like, my dad poured fire. I love ice.
It's very hot.
This feels amazing.
The kids here all feel extremely confident to interact with us or whoever. They don't feel fear from coming and saying hi to us, when I feel like that's not the norm.
It's because they know that the people who here is people that you can trust and people that can feel safe. And so they know that and they feel it. Yeah, that was the space I think.
Where are we headed now?
We're going to Cristo del Picacho. It's a national park.
Okay.
So you have the view of the city.
JR's and Josue's stories might seem different at first, but we believe there is a very similar element that is so important to the work that they are doing in Honduras. That element is mentorship. Whether it be from a blood relative or someone that you find along your journey, mentorship has the power to transform lives.
I was comparing myself with my brother, with my sister, with my siblings. I was comparing me with everybody. All my life, I grew up listening that I was not good enough. Even I'm going person, but I'm afraid to show and to speak because everybody tell me that you don't know anything. You don't know squat. That's exactly what they say to me. That come from my father, my biological father, tell me that. And so I grew up with that.
All I know, it was mom who fought against my dad to give me a better life. It was kind of hard to see the vision and how it's gonna look like. My mom, a single mom with 4 kids, no money, with a mortgage to pay. She was very desperate, and she remembered how Dwight said, "If you need me, reach me." She definitely had to decide go to the state to work for 2 years. But I still remember that a day before she left, I was in my bed, I was pretending to sleep, and she go to the room, my room, and kissed me in the front, and I knew that was it. I started thinking maybe this is the last time I see my mom. So I barely opened my eyes to see for the last time. When she left to the States, I think that was like a month or 2 months when Dwight started calling. And so we have a really cool relationship, talking each other by phone. So for me, that transition from my dad to Dwight was very easy because I recognized him as my father. So when people ask me, who's your father? I say, Dwight is my father.
Dejar a mis hijos fue lo más duro. Cuando iba en el avión, sentí realmente que una mano entró y sacó mi corazón. No fue ningún día lindo. No pude disfrutar realmente esta manera. Trabajé hasta cancelar la última deuda y regresar. Había un deseo que yo no lo sabía, estaba oculto, era un fuego que estaba dentro de mí, era regresar a mis hijos, pero había una fuerza que me hacía escribir historias de niños de la calle y yo no entendía, pero sí tenía mucho deseo de llegar a Honduras y recoger a todos los niños. Estados Unidos fue muy bueno conmigo, pude trabajar bastante, guardé dinero y me traje a dar.
And now is the goal of what you guys are doing here, a lot of it is to make sure that none of these children grow up to needing to have to do that same thing, to make it to where they don't have to leave their children, to make it to where they don't have to be separated from where their heart is.
Exactamente. Amo mi país. Transmito todos los días ese amor a los niños, ese amor a las madres. Podemos salir adelante. No tenemos que salir. Que luego vienen los malos y recogen estas niñas de 12 años, de 13, y es una familia destruida. Todos los que se van son familias. Se llama Luisito. Y yo le dije, mi amor, ¿qué quieres ser cuando seas grande? Traficante, hermano. Y está la hermana. ¿Y usted qué quiere ser, mi amor? Ayudar a mi hermano a vender droga. Fueron los primeros niños. Me causó tanto dolor que después fueron creciendo. Ah, Eduardo, ¿por qué me hiciste mis fotografías, Eduardo? Y se fue llenando de niños, muchos sueños. el mismo sueño, droga, prostitución, alcohol, robar. Y yo de cómo cambiar la mentalidad de los niños. Pero si yo sentí lo mismo. A los 15 años yo me estaba entregando a un señor de 60 años para poder salvar la casa de mi padre. Y yo la entendí. Fui abusada, quise prostituirme, encerrarme en la droga. Y Dios no lo permitió, Dios me salvó. Y Dios me manda a este lugar para que les cuente. Yo te entiendo. Hermana Eli, mi tío abusa de mí. Entonces yo sé qué es eso. Entonces ya no era una facilitadora, ya no era una mujer que iba a darle solamente de comer, sino que era quedarme en el corazón de ellos. Porque yo tenía, aunque fuera mi mamá y papá pobre, pero ellos solo tenían una salida: seguir a la ganga. Copa de Niños llega a un lugar, el infierno, lugar oscuro. Y el Señor llegó dando luz. No fue fácil. No fue fácil porque por el trabajo, sino por el dolor. Porque tu corazón ya palpita demasiado, llorar demasiado. Querer pedir y dar y dar y dar. ¿Y cómo se resuelve esto? Pero Copa de Niños llegó con todo. Fue mi mamá. Ella ya murió. Y ella fue la que me dijo: hija, hay un lugar oscuro que necesita la luz de Cristo, tanto la comida ahí, sino amor. Vamos, yo te voy a ayudar. Yo no quería ir porque daba miedo, pero mi mamá dijo: hija, es que Dios va delante de nosotros. Y ahí empezó. Ella murió y me dejó eso. Entonces ahora tenemos, todos los chiquitos crecieron. Ahora ya no quieren ser prostitutas, ni drogadictos, ni traficantes. Ahora tenemos niños, este es el principio, ahora tenemos niños felices, creyendo. Recuerdo la historia de un niño que cuando le llevamos al mall, dice: Naeli, aquí es Estados Unidos. Entonces le digo: no, estamos en Honduras. Hermana, nunca había salido de Los Pinos. Cada uno de los niños pertenecía a uno. Yo soy la 13, el otro soy 18. El otro que pertenece a la otra, pero después se convirtieron en una sola mara.
The definition of an orphan, we think it's not having a mom and dad, but really the operational definition of orphan is they don't have somebody to show them where to go. Children's Cup keeps them from being orphans because we show them where to go. And I told her, I said, Elizabeth, I'm gonna make you the mother of Honduras. My name's Daniel Dyer. Everybody in the United States calls me Danny, and everybody in Honduras calls me Daniel. And I am the country director for Children's Cup. I am a missionary, been in the country for most of my life, more time in Honduras than the United States or anywhere else in the world. This is my home, this is my life. And so in that sense, I am Honduran because I'm all in. When we started, it was a little bitty wood structure. And because of the way the rain, the waterfall off is, the water would come down this hill and this hill simultaneously, meet over here in a corner of the church. So it would come down. In 2000, I got invited to go into the prisons. My first experience was in a juvie prison with the MS-13, sitting on the floor eating beans and rice with them. The main guy in a prison, he'll have other guys under him. And so I'm here to say that revival can come to MS-13, to gangs, in the places that people think no change can take place at all. God says, you watch.
Can you talk a little bit about the cycle of fatherhood and motherhood in Honduras and how that has affected and contributed to some of the challenges that Honduras is dealing with today?
Well, Lord have mercy. There are some certain cultural, you can call it generational curses if you want. One is something called machismo. Machismo is more than just the way a man acts, it's a paradigm of the world. A man that grows up in machismo, he's the man, he's the alpha. The woman is subservient. Marriage is just means you're with me which don't confuse that with me being with you. Having the children is something that shows your virility of manliness, but taking care of them doesn't enter into that equation. So they abandon them, leave them, disappear from the home, go work at another city, in another place, maybe be with another woman, show up out of nowhere, walk in the door, and it's like I never left. I'm here, I'm back. So that has been very corrupting. That effect has been mitigated somewhat as women have become empowered, as they become more educated, and good for them. But as far as destruction of the family, that's been a very corrosive factor. Poverty destroys. It makes you justify almost doing anything in order to provide for your family, and then it gets very much every man for himself. If I can say what God has placed me in this country to do is to find, mold, and launch the JRs of Honduras. And I could say the exact same process with Josue. My role as we've walked together as a family and as pastor has been to walk them out of all of the other and into the people they are today.
Now, how they view as themselves fathers of many children, how does it make you feel seen?
Well, that made me cry. I mean, that is it. When I see them begin to flow in the older brothers of all of these cup children, they do understand the family and understand levels of maturity and then levels of authority and levels of power and influence that come as you grow, as you're reaching up to the person that you've been following and watching and growing into, and reaching down and saying, hey, I've got something to reach down. If you grab my hand, you will actually grab something. There's something to grab because I'm where I'm walking in what I'm walking in. It's always wonderful to kind of see them realize it. They turn around one day and go, hey, wait a minute, I've grown. And I'm grown not because I feel grown or because I feel big or because I feel like I'm in charge. I've grown, and I can tell it because of what my life is doing to others around me, and I see it. And so that is amazing. As far as the care point goes, any child can come to the care point, but not all children are regulars at the care point. And so as they buy into the care point, then we walk with them at these levels. But if a child comes and wants to eat and then he disappears and we don't, we're never going to shut the door. ¿Ok? ¿Estamos?
Sí.
¿Seguro?
Sí.
Entonces lo que queremos es usted hace así. Mira, como yo puedo ver a mí mismo. Mira, entonces ahí lo voy a hacer uno. Hola, yo soy Daniel. ¿Ok? Ahora usted.
Hola, mi nombre es Jorge.
Ahí está. Ok, ¿quién más?
Hola, mi nombre es Mariel. Dani Pollo. Dani Pollo. Dani Pollo. Hola, mi nombre es Den. Hola, mi nombre es Chiva la Quebrada. Rudy. Hola, mi nombre es Rudy. Vaya vos. Dale boca a él. Dale boca a él. ¿Y tu nombre? Gael.
Let's say you have 7 options, but 4 of them are kind of hidden. You don't visualize them, but they are viable. But you don't see it because your eyes are closed, because of the environment you live. So then you say, no, I really only have 2 choices. I don't want to steal, don't want to be part of a gang. The other 4 choices were hidden from my eyes. And so then now I'm closed off, there is no option. But that's not true. So what has Cup done? We've uncovered the other options by walking with the children, by showing them that love, by them saying, you know what, I can make good grades in school. Okay, that was a little door. It was a little door, but it took them to the next step. It kept them walking, and all of a sudden then these other options open up. And they were always there, they now can see it.
¿Y qué te gustaría hacer?
Me gustaría ser psicólogo si Dios primeramente me lo permite. Esa es mi carrera, la cual yo quiero estudiar en la universidad.
Because I can go to college. I can become a doctor. I can be an engineer. That's what I really wanted. I didn't really want the other. That was my desperation choice. But now I've got this other. And so they come out of foundations and these, we go through their interviews and we do all sorts of things in foundations and the retreat and everything really cool. They go in those offices and they kill it.
¿Y tu esperanza cómo ves a Honduras?
Mi
¿Cómo
esperanza.
quieres que se mire transformado?
Transformada, que sea un país próspero, que cambien, que sea un país de primer nivel, que Dios siempre lo ha utilizado porque Dios ha puesto a Honduras en primero porque a Él lo exaltamos, porque Él ha sido nuestra esperanza para seguir y que sin Él no seríamos nada.
Foundations is the culmination, preparation, the final touches of formation of a work that does start beforehand. MS-13, a lot of the root systems of that is they become a surrogate family. You get healthy families, that disappears because they are offering, you come be with us, you're gonna be the man. You come be with us, you're gonna have brothers. You come with us, you're gonna make some money. And we look at it and go, are you kidding? It's a chaotic enterprise and nobody's winning. But when you're a little kid and you're coming into cognitive development and dad's beating mom and he's drunk, mom won't let you come to the house until 11 or 12 at night because she's a prostitute and you gotta wander out, because those are the kids in our care points. And so a gang comes along. Well, I mean, you're going after that. It's abhorrent, it's aberrant, it's distorted, it's perverted, it's chaotic, it's corrupt on every level, and they don't see any of it. And you know what I say? I get it. I get it. That's why Elizabeth's mom, all of them become mom. They all love them because they're giving them what they wanted, what they needed. It's community. And in the care point, they find family, they find father and mother figures, they find structure, they find order, they find a pathway, they find a safe place, they find hope. They can then play, learn, relax. We're helping them with their homework. Their grades are getting better. We give them shoes. We give them a backpack. We give them supplies. They feel proud. Before they didn't even want to go to school because I'm going to school barefoot. I'm going to school and my uniform tore. Before they'd walk into the classroom and just lay their heads on the desk and go to sleep because they hadn't eaten. They come to an age and instilling values in them. You're part of a community. You're part of a whole, and you're very important to that. There is a world out there, and you are going to shine in that world. When we wrap up foundations is where we really put them through their paces, where they're going to go to job interviews, how they go into the university, how they'll do their classes, what that looks like, how to take the entrance exam into university or others. I want to work, how to go into an interview, how to present yourself, and then others that are starting businesses, how to start businesses, money management. All of that happens in the retreat. They graduate from that, then they're good to go. There are not words to describe how far that was from there. It was never going to happen. The success rate for Foundation in unveiling those hidden options that they didn't know existed as we walked through them, and then preparing them and propelling them into avenues of success, whether it be university, higher study, whether it be starting their own business, or whether it be successfully working in a company in Honduras, is 100%. And that's beautiful. You can lose the world or gain the world in one generation. is all you have to do is start with this generation. And that's ground zero, because they grow up. If we can guide and not have them orphans of every child, then the whole world will change. I see them as the hope for the future.